Probably Donkey Kong and Pac-Man in there. Are you kidding me? That'll be the last room to go in this house. Hey, Brent here from Older Home Specialists. All right, I got called out to a new job here. This was a job that was done actually last year. And the guy has a room on the inside, a game room that is getting water on the inside. And he had this French drain and solid drain installed. So this is why it's important to assess each job correctly so that you know what you're doing. That includes knowing where the water's coming from, the soil type, how things are going to move in the ground, what the water table is, everything. And so basically what they did here, you can see, is they have a 3-inch French drain on one side, the solid drain on the other side, but you can see the depth of the footer. So what's happening here is whenever you're up on the side of a building like this, you want to make sure that you're equal with that footer on the bottom, because that's ultimately where the water is going to go. Hydrostatic pressure is going to put it down. If you don't get deep enough on an install like this, yeah, it's going to work against you, especially considering when they're installing these, they're putting gravel underneath them, whereas with our high octane, we're going straight on the ground. So all that gravel is going to work against you. Basically, the principle is that water's going to have to rise up before it can hit the open void and go out. Unfortunately, the water is going to work against you in a case like this. But another mistake that they made is, if you can look and see, well, there's a room here, but what? There's vents here. So how does that make sense? There's no vents in the room, right? So you're going to see when we go on the inside, there's an actual another structure on the inside that steps out about 2 feet, and that goes a little bit deeper yet. So they're getting water in that game room, but they never correctly evaluated the depth that the French drain needed to be. So we're going to go on inside and you can see what I see. They came all the way down here. So before we get in there, you can see what happened here is the guy told me that they did a burrito wrap, but actually this isn't a burrito wrap. It looks to me like what they did was they lined the sides with non-woven and then put the tile down with a sleeve on the inside. And that's still going to run debris straight up to that sleeve. And you can see the amount of debris that's in here. So what would have been better, just on a side note, is to pull that in and actually make a burrito and seal that up. And if you want another sleeve for, let's say you have really dirty rock or a heavy debris situation, you can put another sleeve down in there, but you definitely want it filtered on the top layer, not just everything going straight down to that. All right, so we're looking on the inside now, and you can look down and you can see the edge of the overpour down here on the bottom right here, right where my light's at. You can see that there's overpour right there. And then you can see how much further it drops down into that room right there. So when I look at the drainage assessment report for this property, I see the water pathways are heading right to that corner. When I'm looking at that, I'm evaluating what the water table is and the soil type, and the water table is high here and the soil type is rocky, type A. So that means it's not going to filter very well. And so basically that water can move through the ground as well in the same direction. And that's exactly what happens in these areas a lot. So I think that's what's happening is that the water's moving not only with sheet flow on the top, but it's also moving through the ground, and they didn't get it deep enough in order to capture the water before it got in there. You can see how much this drops off here. All right, so here's another interesting thing to see. So this is the French drain that I'm looking at right here. Look at how the sleeve has gotten damaged already. Look, that's only after a year with 3/4 crush pushing on it. So that's another reason why I wouldn't just sleeve just the pipe, is because that's only been a year. That's not very long at all. And then of course, once it's like that, then any dirt is gonna go straight in. All right, so I'm on the outside of the house here. And so this is a good example of how you need to know the area that you're working and what's happening in the ground as well. So you can see how everything goes down this way, but turn around and look here. I mean, everything's going up this way, the neighbor's yard and everything. And when I looked at the drainage assessment report, this one primary pathway coming this way accumulated from 4,300 square feet on the other parcel or parcels when it comes this way. So that's why it's important to understand where you're working. I'm up in a rural area just above Folsom, And so when you get in these elevated areas, it's really common that you're going to find water in the ground, a higher water table. As a matter of fact, anytime I've seen an artesian spring, it's always been in an area like this. Water's very unpredictable in the ground here. But one thing's for sure, water's penetrating right here. So whatever's happening is happening at this corner right here. So the drain just needs to be deeper. But anyways, this is the reason why we take the time to assess each job correctly. Because other than that, I mean, this guy's already into this for 75 grand between the drainage that he had installed already and gutter work and the foundation guys sealing the side and everything that they're doing. And it's like he contacted the old guy who did this job. And basically, one of the things the guy said was, well, if it doesn't work, maybe we got a demo. And I'm thinking to myself, demo? What the hell? What are you demoing? The room? Come on, man. That's not the answer. You know what I mean? Especially game room, man. There's probably Donkey Kong and Pac-Man in there. Are you kidding me? That'll be the last room to go in this house. So anyways, this is the reason why you'll see this job as we end up doing it. We got a long list right now, at least 3 months worth of work. So it's going to be a while before this one comes out, but it'll be an interesting one.